Hello, friends and fellow adventurers. I'm Alex Reed, your DM here for Cocked, a Real Play D&D podcast. Today, our characters are going to go around and answer a question about themselves, which is, what is your character's opinion on nobility?
That's your turn.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Reggie Morris. I play Braca Ultim, a Cobalt Artificer. Braca doesn't really care for people of noble status. I mean, he doesn't really get the whole nobility thing. It's just kind of like something he hasn't fully understood yet.
Hey, everybody. My name is Jessica Reed. I play Katie, a Dragonborn fighter. Let's see about Katie's opinion of nobility. I think she kind of resents it a little bit right now. She doesn't quite understand it since she kind of has some family who is a little higher in status that she's trying to not necessarily associate with because she's trying to make her own path. She's not trying to follow in the same footsteps. So I think she's a little resentful towards it a bit.
Hi, this is Alex Groves. I play Aegard, the Furbolg Druid. Aegard's view on nobility, now with the Furbolg, it's a little different. You know, there is a hierarchy, but nobility, it's not really something that is used with the Furbolg, but he does recognize it. He looks at it as more almost of a human thing, because that's really all he's heard of, and being outside of his home now while journeying. When he hears about nobles, it always seems to be like kind of a human thing. So he figures it's just part of their day-to-day in life. I don't think he really has any feelings one way or about it or not. But yeah, I think he just feels like it's something that's more of a human necessity. It seems like something that they drive more than anything else.
Hey guys, it's Connor Joyner. I play Ibron Ironmane, the Leonin Ranger. Ibron's opinion on nobility is he could really care less for it because sometimes those that are considered noble are not necessarily the strongest, and coming from a place that basically only the strong lead, he considers it very unnecessary.
So, last we left off, the party had opened the door at the bottom of the chamber.
Finally.
Ibron was taken by Ashoud, who was given chase by Aegard, who turned into a flying snake, which hats off to that. That was cool. That was
Sneaky
fun.
Snake.
That was a fun chase. Then he got knocked out of his flying snake form and returned to the others, helped them close the door down below, head back up. You guys sealed the shaft that went down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I believe last we left off, you guys had left the forest and made it back to the main road and were giving chase. You guys are probably about half an hour behind where Ashoud had left. It is starting to get to dusk. It's not late. It's more like 5, 6-ish in the day. So you guys do have a few hours of travel if you want to use it to move in that direction and try to track. You're more than welcome to. What would you guys like to do?
Speaking as Aegard, sorry, he was traveling very fast. We're not going to be able to catch him on foot. I say we continue forward down the road until nightfall. I say we camp, and then at first light head to Guamora, right?
Mm-hmm. Guamora. That's the direction he was headed.
And assuming he's traveling there, see if we can find them there. But that's all I can think of at this point.
Where we left off, I believe we said you were about a day's travel from Guamora,
right,
when you guys went into the trees.
I'd agree. I think that, eventually, if we're not going to catch up with him, then finding somewhere to...
I flew as fast as I could, and I could not catch up.
Okay.
So he is traveling much faster than we can travel on foot.
Okay.
So I say let's continue and let's move at a fast pace towards Guamora, but at dark, let's camp, and then we'll move in the morning.
Katie will pick Braca up if that's okay.
Brocco's 100% distracted with the gelatinous cube ooze he got. He's just looking at it.
Perfect. He can study that on my shoulder.
There you go.
He won't even react to you picking him up. He'll just still be looking at it.
So as you guys are walking down the road, Katie has Braca on her shoulders, and he's just kind of messing with the glass vial, kind of tilting it side to side, looking at the remains of the gelatinous cube that he had been able to harvest. You guys can go for, I would say, do you want to go for like 4 hours? That would get you close to nightfall.
Yeah.
To be able to camp and do a...
And Aegard's moving at, I mean,
Yes.
at his 8-foot frame, he's moving at a fast, like, the gait of his walk, he's very determined. So
go ahead and make a nature check just to try to find a kind of a nice place. Well, do you want to just camp on the road, or do you want to find a place a little off the road?
I mean, I'd say off the road. On the road might be a little cumbersome.
Okay, yep. So make a nature or survival check just to find a nice place to camp.
17.
Brocco got
17.
a 25 for nature.
Damn.
25. Okay. Aegard and Braca kind of look around as Katie continues walking with Braca on her shoulders, and Braca kind of points something out, and Aegard goes to kind of check, and you guys find a nice little small clearing that still has eyes on the road, but you're able to set up camp there, and you would have some cover from the road, but there's just almost like there's a 2 to 3 feet of brush that kind of obscures view from the road, but you guys can see through the trees and still see the road and that stuff, to keep tabs on it just in case you see somebody go by or anything like that. So you may still want to set up watches to go through the night, but it's up to you guys.
Why don't the two of you rest? I'll take first watch.
Okay. I'll take second.
What are we doing?
We're going to camp for the night, so I will watch first while you rest. Katie said she'll take second watch. Are you okay watching until morning after that?
Sure, I don't care.
Okay, so you guys find a place to bed down. Katie and Braca kind of set up little beds and go to sleep to get your rest in. Go ahead and make a perception check during your watch.
22.
22. You do hear some rustling and things like that, but as you look around and with your knowledge of forests and things like that, you do recognize them as small creatures and small animals moving about the violet woods.
Mhm.
You do hear a sound that kind of catches your attention. It's not a small animal. It's a larger animal moving in the direction that you're headed,
Okay.
but it sounds like it's moving away from the main road.
I mean, I want to investigate that. If it's a larger animal, I'm gonna Aegard will pull out the spear and kind of keep it in front of him and start moving towards the noise.
So go ahead and make a survival check.
12.
It's a larger creature, so it's not hard to find the tracks. You are able to locate it. It is moving away from the main road and headed deeper into the woods. You can follow those tracks if you want.
Can I investigate the tracks? See if I can see what
Absolutely.
it is. You want me to do investigation, or you want me to do like history or nature?
Let's do an investigation and nature and average the two,
Okay.
since it's for
So
an
investigation is a 15.
animal. Okay.
Nature is a 21.
Okay. So good
Yeah.
enough. Getting close to the tracks with the spear and the light, you start to see the form and the shape of it. Your best guess, based on what you've learned from your people and the different texts and everything you have, this is more than likely a large elk that is
Okay.
just kind of moving and headed in the direction away from the path.
Do I have any idea of how far away, how far I am from it?
You know, with how high you got on both of those, I would say you can tell that those tracks are relatively fresh.
Uh-huh.
If you moved quietly, it would probably take you 5 to 10 minutes to catch up with it.
Okay. Never mind.
But
That's fine.
it is moving in a direction away from.
That's fine. I'll head back to camp.
Your watch after that finishes without any incident, anything like that.
Katie. I know. I am sorry. Can
It's
you
okay.
take your watch?
Yeah, I'm up.
All right. Thank you.
I'm up.
Okay, so Katie, make a perception check.
Ooh, 11.
11. Okay, go ahead and make your roll.
Uh-oh.
You're just your
What? Whose roll?
74.
Close.
Oh.
As you're looking around, you get distracted a little bit by hearing Braca toss and turn. It is something that you've seen before. You have noticed it, but you just feel like maybe it's just a nightmare. It doesn't seem like he's extremely scared. It just doesn't seem like he is getting a comfortable sleep at the same time. So that does distract you a little bit from your perception. You're kind of, with your instincts that you have towards Braca, you're kind of half watching and half kind of turning and looking at him, just making sure he's okay. Your watch does pass. There are some noises around the camp, but nothing that sounds threatening or like it's coming towards you.
Okay. Just regular, like, animal noises?
Yeah,
somewhat?
like
Okay.
little animals in the brush moving around and things like that.
Just to be clear here.
Yeah, no, not regular wagon wheel noises.
Okay. Then I'll go over and just try to gently wake Braca. Like, Braca.
Braca will like quickly jolt awake
Oh,
and like kind of reach for his like poison spray, but
no.
not do that.
It's just me. I was just waking you up for your watch, so that way we can, I can go back to sleep.
Okay, we'll probably do that then.
Okay, all right. I'll just be right here. Wake me if you need me.
Mm-hmm. For the first, like, what is it? Yeah, he's gonna ritually cast alarm.
Okay.
Around the campsite. Something he should have done beforehand, before all the watches, but he forgot. So yeah, he'll just ritually cast alarm around the camp and designate Aegard and Katie to not set off the alarm if they, somehow step through it or whatever. And he's gonna make sure it's like an audible one, not like just a mental ping.
I hear something in the woods.
You hear branches crack off in the distance.
It's someone stepping on the... Oh, did you set the alarm to sound like tortilla chips crackling, whatever?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. During Braca's watch, he's probably going to be very distracted because he wants to take the very small bit of the gelatinous cube stuff and see if it'll react in any way with the yellow acidic poison that he has.
So make a perception check with disadvantage because you're distracted by something.
I knew that was going to happen.
Yep.
I got an 8.
You fucker.
That's why I did the alarm. Because if anything comes in, I'm gonna be distracted. So,
So describe to me what you're doing with those two different vials, and I'll tell you what happens.
So
Paying attention.
Braca is going to not be near Aegard or Katie. He's gonna kind of go to like one corner, like that's in like the range of his alarm.
But still, like within
Yeah,
the
he's
alarm?
still like within it.
Okay.
He's just gonna go to like one corner away from Katie and Aegard, and he's gonna take an empty vial and kind of fill it up like a quarter of the way with the gelatinous cube stuff, and then take the acidic poison and put like another and fill it up like, or try to fill it up like a quarter of the way.
So I'm going to roll a percentile die to see what happens.
Okay.
Oh my god.
It's gonna blow up. It's gonna be funny if it blows up.
He grows an entirely new cube.
Oh my god.
So the 0, 0,
Oh, Lord.
and a 3 is
so-
a 3,
Yeah,
right?
so 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, let's see if
Okay,
this is
he's
good.
rolling dice.
So you take that vial. You filled it, about a quarter of the way?
Yeah, I essentially emptied out like a quarter of the gelatinous cube stuff and the acidic poison.
As you did that, you have the gelatinous cube already in it. As you're pouring the poison in, you start to hear this hissing, and a gas comes out and explodes in your face,
Mm-hmm.
and you take 5 points of poison damage as you breathe it in and start coughing.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You immediately drop the vial, and it shatters on the ground, and you can see as the liquid that was in it seeps into the ground, and it is absorbed into the dirt. Where it hit, it eats away at the dirt as well until it's about 6 inches deep, and it is just gone.
Okay. So it dissolves
my
6
God.
inches of the earth.
Mhm.
Then. Okay. Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So a Braca reaction.
Brock is going to take out his notebook and jot down
Mhm.
down what happened.
While he's writing that down, because you breathed in that gas, I don't think he would immediately realize that he was injured. As he's writing
you
that
said- you said
down,
5 points. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
as he's writing that down, drop drop of blood from his nose drips onto what he's writing, and he starts to realize that that gas cloud that he breathed in did some type of damage to his nose, and he has a slight nosebleed.
Okay. Did it like burn or anything like inhaling it?
Yeah, I would say it burnt a little bit. It was definitely more of like a warmer gas that
Okay.
came out, but
Methane.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to.
So the vials. Okay, let me mark down when vials gone, because you said I dropped in. And
yep,
it shattered,
you
right?
dropped that vial and it shattered. You two make a perception check with disadvantage because you are sleeping.
14 with disadvantage.
Oh God, 4. Jeez.
So Katie doesn't hear anything.
Not at all.
Aegard, you hear the vial shatter.
Uh-huh.
So you're sleeping and you just catch this.
Raka, what are you doing?
He's just gonna stay silent. He's like mid writing.
Okay.
he's
So
mid
Brock is, okay, so Aegard's going to sit up now.
he's mid writing stuff down, and he's just kind of look over and hope you said that in your sleep.
So Aegard,
Mm-hmm.
you woke up and asked Braca what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And as you sit up, you just see Braca kind of sitting in the corner of camp, squatted down
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
his notepad out, and he's
Yeah.
just making eye contact with you, but
There's
clearly
a
writing
dissolved
something in.
piece of earth in front of him.
You notice a drop of blood on his like upper lip,
Yeah.
and it dripped down to the page.
Braka, you're bleeding. What did you do?
Oh, I'm fine. It's fine.
What does that smell? What happened to the ground?
I tried to do something.
Ugh.
Something happened.
Can you keep watch, please?
I mean, yeah, I've been doing that. I think.
Aegard's gonna lay back down. Ugh.
You get back to sleep.
It's like a grumpy
Yeah,
parent.
no, it's fine. Just
Yeah, Brock is just gonna jot down how much he added of both. The
Aegard's reaction.
the like how long it
Yeah.
took to react, like the smell, the like how badly it burned,
Aegard was
like every single like every effect that happened, like what it did to the earth.
Right.
Made your friend upset.
Yep. So you were you documented that stuff.
Could I do some sort of check to know if I like put a cork on the vial, if it'll like contain it, or if it'll like just make it essentially explode?
I think you'd have to try that to see what would happen.
I'll do that later. I already woke Aegard up. I made Papa mad. I don't want to do
he was asleep, man.
Papa Smurf.
it. Braca likes Aegard. He doesn't want to make him upset.
Sorry.
So he'll just jot that down and write just what he wants to do next in his notebook, and then just, I guess, go back to keeping watch.
So with that incident, nothing else really happens throughout your watch. Your alarm does go off one time, but as you look over, there's a little rabbit hopping through that passed right through it, cutting through, going into the woods. So you don't think it's anything serious. You don't wake the others up, I wouldn't think, for a rabbit.
No.
But you guys do benefit from a long rest, and you wake up the next morning.
Thank God. Although those temporary hit points are gone,
Yeah.
that makes me sad.
All right. So Aegard, as usual, break of dawn. He's up, and Katie, it's time to get up and let's leave.
Okay, yep. Katie would have been already in her little area, but meditating.
Oh,
Her
okay.
morning meditation. So, yep, I'm ready. I think we just got to get Braca going, and we will be good to go.
Braca would have already been awake, right, since he was on last watch?
On watch,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, never mind. We're all awake.
Great.
Let's go.
Okay.
I guess throughout the rest of his war, as Aegar's probably waking up, he'll be working on his experimental elixir. Like he'll just essentially have like just a clear, like viscous,
Okay.
like vial of fluid that he'll tinker with, and he'll make this like kind of bright, like orange, like fluid, and it's still like kind of like thick, but it's just something he was working on throughout the night. One of his experimental elixirs.
And Aegard's going to look at both you and say, with what we have with us, we have some rope, we have, assuming we have like bedrolls and stuff with us, we have different things. Braca, could you help Katie fashion some sort of saddle with what we have?
Saddle for what?
We're going to need to travel much faster.
Okay.
What? Are we about to ride you?
Yes. A
horse. Way to question.
A horse will get us there much faster.
Okay.
If that does not make you uncomfortable.
No, I'm fine with horses.
Okay.
I can ride bareback.
So
I don't necessarily need a saddle.
We'll be going very, very fast, so I want to make sure that you're.
Is that not what it's called? Why are you laughing?
It is, but gosh, oh Lord.
I don't know if my raptor would be as fast as you on a as a horse.
He'll be transitioning to a war horse, which is 60 feet.
Okay, so a little faster.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you'll be slightly slower, but you could keep up.
Okay.
I would think you would notice that he's losing a little speed.
Eventually. Yeah.
I just feel it would be better for them both to just.
Yeah, but Braca doesn't want Aegard to slow down because of him, so he'll think of some idea to like fashion the rope and the bedrolls into a saddle.
Okay. So Aegard, go ahead and changes into. Well, let me check our table really quick. I didn't think about that.
What check do you want me to do for that?
Survival.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 1/2 CR. So.
Oh God.
Okay, so just roll a d20.
Roll
first.
the dice.
14.
You're good.
Okay.
Oh, look at
10.
you.
So I turn into a kind of gray, but still a little bluish, very large horse.
Braca got 14 on survival. Did you
War
want me to
horse,
roll that
actually.
with advantage because Katie was helping or no?
I mean, you can, but 14's fine.
Okay.
So almost like I'm picturing a war horse is almost like Clydesdale-ish.
Clydesdale, yeah.
Yeah. So
Because you're in a war horse form, and you're just kind of plowing straight ahead, are you looking for anything, or are you just trying to make time, make speed?
he'll be looking around at the same time. I mean, he's primarily wanting to get to the destination, but I mean he's this way. He's not dashing. He's moving at the 60 foot
Okay.
of the horse. I figured that it would be more. I mean, we were basically moving twice as fast as we would be.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you were double moving,
No,
so that's why I was asking.
no.
So you guys can all make a perception check for the first 2 hours of the journey.
Oh, finally.
Braga doesn't see anything.
Yep. He's
17.
a little more focused on the road than I thought he'd
I
be.
mean, that one.
Oh my gosh.
He's asleep.
Whew, I'm glad Katie came to save the day. Hopefully. I'm being presumptuous.
So the first part of your ride is pretty uneventful. You don't see a whole lot.
Oh.
At about the 2 hour mark. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep, go ahead.
At the hour mark, Aegard stops, gets down, lowers himself.
Oh, okay. We would get off. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I would have Braca.
Because then he reverts back to Aegard form.
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
A little awkward mid-run.
So I figure he kind of can feel it, starting to the time, because he can only do for 1 hour.
Okay, wild shape only lasts for 1 hour.
At this level.
Yeah.
It increases as you get higher up, but right now it's just for 1 hour.
Yeah.
So then he'll just do it again.
Okay.
And in the same thing, just refashion the saddle and go another hour. So basically, we'll get 2 hours of double our normal movement out of it. That's the best we can do.
Your perception roll was for the full 2 hours.
Oh, okay, cool.
Coming towards the end of the second hour, Katie, you look off into the woods to the north of you, and you squint as you see there is smoke rising from an area in the forest.
Oh. I would relay that to Aegard and Braca.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I don't know if we want to deter off of our path to get to Ibron, but I don't know if that has something to do with him.
Horse Aegard would slow down and just kind of look back at Katie, look at the direction that she's just talking about, and just kind of stand there and wait for some sort of direction until the 2 hour mark is up. I mean, he can't talk, so.
Does it look like it's in the same direction as Guamora, or is it kind of veering to this side?
Guamora is more to your east on this path that you're headed. This is more to the north of you.
Ooh.
If it's going to take us out of the direction,
Yeah.
Horse Aegard is going to basically kind of pull his head in the direction of where he feels they should be going, which is towards Guamora.
Go ahead and As you feel that, and you're kind of tugging, everybody can make another perception check. Aegard will do it with disadvantage, just because you're trying to convince him to continue moving on.
Okay.
16.
Yeah.
11.
12.
As this is happening, and Aegard and Katie are kind of discussing, well, Aegard is in horse form, kind of motioning to move on, and Katie is kind of trying to break it down. Braca, you climb up onto Katie's shoulders, and you kind of look harder into the woods, and you notice that protruding from the top of the trees is a cone-like shape that does not look like it belongs in a forest. It does not look like the smoke is coming from the trees. It looks like the smoke is coming out of this object, whatever it may be.
Can I tell, like, what color this cone-like thing is? You said it's like a cone-like thing, right?
Mm-hmm. It's at how far away you are. I would say it looks more like a brownish rust color.
Oh, so there's like this kind of cone thing
Mhm.
with smoke coming out.
Yep. So there's the tree line, and then there's this odd shape that doesn't look like it really belongs in the forest or where you're looking, and it's like a cone shape that is almost like a brownish rust color that has smoke coming out of it.
Could I tell from this distance if it looks like metallic at all?
It does have a little bit of a shine to it
Like a
coming off
sheen.
the light of the day.
Rocco will kind of like tilt his head in like confusion and intrigue, and he'll tell that, or just like shout it out, or not shout it out, but just say it.
Hey guys!
Say it to Katie and Aegard. Rocco will just say, there's this cone, rust-colored cone thing. It's, I think, made of metal. It smokes. The smoke's coming from it. I don't think it belongs in a forest. I don't know if that would change your mind.
It's like teepee shaped.
Mhm.
Okay, is Aegard about to drop out of wild shape because you said it was right at the 2
You
hour
have about
mark?
10-15 minutes left in it. It's getting close to the 2 hour mark,
I
but
mean, he's going to drop out of it then. He's going to get down on
Okay.
the ground again, and so you feel like he needs to probably communicate at this point.
Yeah, Braca and I will get off.
Okay, good. So he's kind of looking off in the distance.
It might be something that we need to go to.
Is it look far off the path, or
it looks a little ways into
okay?
the forest, but it is visible.
Yeah.
Visible from for
Keep
you.
that.
Yeah, right. I will. And then just real quick, Connor, I promise we're getting there.
Y'all are fine.
Just keep your energy up.
Actually, you know what? Let's do that. You
Ooh,
guys
back up, yeah.
are at that spot on the road looking from the road into the forest. You can still, now that Aegard has dropped out of the warhorse form, I would say you're tall enough that you have the line of sight that they had.
Mhm.
But now that you guys are off of Aegard, it's a little bit different as far as the line of sight. Like Braca cannot see it without being on Katie's shoulders, and Katie, you can just see a little bit of the cone sticking out, not as much as you could when you were sitting on the warhorse.
Oh, okay.
So before we cut over, can I just say that well, if we're going to look into this, let's be quick about it.
Yeah, of course.
Meanwhile, we'll shoot over to Ashoud, who had taken Ibron. Ibron, you start to wake.
Mm-hmm.
You feel groggy, like you had been hit over the head.
So my head's throbbing.
Yeah, your head is throbbing. But as you kind of blink and look around, you see this Victorian-style hut. So it has like these exposed wooden beams. It looks like almost this plaster-like substance between the two. It looks like mud that maybe has been colored with different types of powders and dirts and things like that to try to make it look a little
Homie.
more like it belongs where it is. It still looks out of place, but as you blink and you kind of come to, you are inside a hut.
Mm-hmm.
And as you look down, your front and back paws are bound by rope, and then they are also tied together. So I don't know if you've seen like how they do like the cattle roping and the rodeos and that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a hog tie.
Yeah. I've seen
So
that.
all four paws are kind of tied together, and as you come
It's like the highest level of S&M.
Whoa, my gosh!
We'll just stick with rodeo.
Yeah, let's stick with rodeo, please.
so you're looking around.
Where the hell am I? Now is this rope magical? Can I try and pull my way
You can
out.
You can make a strength check to try to break the grapple, because I think technically it's restrained, right, with the rope tied.
Yeah.
So, yep, you can definitely try to pull on it and see what happens.
I got a 16 on my strength check.
So as you pull at the the hog tie and the ropes, and they just seem to get tighter. Like as you're pulling and pulling, it's like it's making the knot tighter and tighter, and you just can't quite get a hold to break it.
Now,
The way that it's done, even if you were to try to pull your claws out and use them, it's to where you can't reach the ropes with your claws.
you must have been reading my mind, because that was going to be my next question. Could I use my claws to cut through the rope?
Make a perception check for me. As you're kind of laying there pulling at the ropes and looking around and you're listening.
19.
19. So you do hear shuffling. And as you start to look around, you realize that you are on a second floor somewhere. There is another, or at least there's a floor beneath you. I'll put it that way. And as you look around, there are some windows on this level. And you notice that there is a chimney and a fireplace on the second level that has what looks like a black pot inside of it.
Is the fire lit at all?
It is lit. The cauldron that is there is not over the fire. It is in front of it, but there is wood as you look, because you're laying on the ground. You can see underneath it. There's a bunch of wood on the fire that is kind of lit, and off to the side there's more firewood and stuff like that. You hear a heavy footfall and then almost what sounds like a drag after that. And you kind of hear this mumbling and this talking, but it's not to a person. It's like they're talking to themselves.
Can I make a perception check to see if I can clearly hear it? Or is it far enough away and blocked by enough material that I can't really make out what the person is saying?
You could make a check to hear exactly what it is. Is it still perception?
I would say
It'd
it's
be investigation.
Or would it
wouldn't
be more
'Cause
investigation?
You're focused on it at this point.
That's what I was thinking. Is it's more investigation because you're trying to zero in on a certain thing.
Yeah,
With-
perception is like you just kind of notice something, but once you've noticed it, you're gonna.
Now, would it be investigation with disadvantage? Because I'm trying to listen through.
I don't think so, because where you're at, where you're laying there, you're on this floor and the stairs go down, but there's not necessarily a door there. Like it's an open airway. As you look over, you can see straight across. You can see where the wall and the window are, and you see the stairs just go down.
Okay.
It's not like there's some type of enclosure.
Okay.
So while they're mumbling and talking to themselves, it is still echoing throughout this structure.
Okay. I'm going to make an investigation check. 20.
So you hear a voice that you haven't heard before. It's different. It's very cackly. Bear with me because I have not done this voice before, but I'm going to try. So we might laugh for a good 5 minutes before we actually get a usable line. So be ready. You hear you can hear the thud as they're walking here. They've got to be here soon. They'll be here soon. I must prepare. Soon they'll be here. And you can hear kind of rattling and clinking as they're messing with things downstairs. As you hear that, all of a sudden you can hear this, "Don't look at me like that. You know they're on their way." As they keep continuing walking across the floor.
But I'm definitely not hearing any other voices. I can tell that they're solely talking to themselves or something.
No other voices. They were talking to themselves or something. And as this continues, and you continue looking,
How far away is the group from this place currently?
they have no idea.
Okay.
Neither do you.
Okay.
You hear her say, well, you hear it, I should say, not necessarily her, but you hear it say, I wonder I wonder what she will say when I bring her all of these rare ingredients.
Is this like a store brand Schmeagol?
What?
First of all, Ibron's getting pissed because he's basically hogtied and captive, and
Hang on a second. Are you calling my voice acting Dollar General level?
That's crazy.
No, there's still store
Wow.
brands.
I am
at
sorry I am
Walmart
not
and
Matt
Kroger.
Mercer, but come on.
Katie
trying here.
dies.
Katie
No,
gets a
so-
spike through her heart. Just on the way there.
So you hear that from downstairs. You hear that muttering, and you hear the statement about the ingredients. And then you hear the footsteps begin to get closer, and it sounds like it's more hollow and headed up. So it sounds like they're on the stairs. So you hear, and it's getting closer and closer as they're walking up.
so from where I'm at on the ground, is there a corner that I can crawl back into to kind of put my back up against something?
So where you're at upstairs, it's pretty open. Really the only things that are up there, as you look around, you notice there are like lanterns hanging, but they're not lanterns. They're small cages. And you see that they look old. They look worn. Some of them have dead animals in them. You see like a crow in one. You see a couple different strange things. Make a history check.
12.
12. So you see in another cage, you see what looks like a very tiny humanoid creature with wings, but you don't know what it is. You just see that in a cage on the far side of the room. You do know you can back up to get against the wall.
So that's what he's going to do is wiggle. Excuse me. He's going to wiggle as best he can. He's scraping across the floor because, he's still in his armor, and he's going to back himself up against up against the closest wall. Particularly if he has a window, he's going to put the window right by his head. Or how high are these windows?
So you wouldn't be able to sit up the way that you are tied.
Okay.
You would be able to slide backwards on your side against the wall, but you wouldn't be able to get to where you could get up to a windowsill even with your neck. They're pretty tall.
Okay. Then he is going to get himself up against a wall, but still have visibility on the staircase. But also that other creature has caught his attention, and he's going to try and communicate with it. Would that be possible?
First, make a dexterity check as you're moving with disadvantage.
Okay.
So what was the lowest of the two?
Oh, they were both 17.
Both 17?
Mhm.
Okay. So you're able to do it without making too much noise, so you don't necessarily bring attention to yourself. However, I would say you have about 5 seconds at most before this individual crosses that threshold of where the floor starts as the stairs are coming up.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to utilize those 5 seconds and just kind of get this creature's attention by waving my hand a little bit to see if I can get it to just look at me and quietly mouth, "Where are we?"
So you're not able to wave your hand.
Okay.
Your paws are all kind of together, so
Okay.
you wouldn't really be able to wave or anything to get its
Okay.
attention because your front paws are tied with your back paws.
Okay, so I'm like this.
Yep, you're hog tied, so
Okay.
you can't really move at all. You could try your best. There's no movement from that cage
Okay.
at all. And it's at this point that a hooded figure begins to appear coming up the stairs at about that halfway point, and they continue going up, and you just hear the heavy footfall, and then the drag, as they walk up the stairs. And the creature turns and looks at you, and all you notice, because there is a very there's a very shadowed kind of hood over their head that you can't really see much, but you do notice there's a pointed nose that sticks out that is a little, it's a green hue, and you hear, "Oh, I don't want to spoil the fun. Come, see what I have planned for all of you." And she inches closer, and then she goes, "Oh, maybe you don't realize who I am." And you can tell that she has this expression, and you've got this shocked expression looking at her, and she waves her hand over her face, and you see Ashoud, the wizard, standing there before you.
Oh my! Aren't you an ugly one?
Yes. Snaps their finger, and they're back. They revert back to the hooded figure form, and she says, "Nice of you to join me, but I need you to be asleep." And she kind of tosses this vial in front of you, and it explodes, and this smoke appears, and you slowly fade to black again as you kind of blink and try to stay awake and fight it, and you're back asleep, and she has come up the stairs.
Okay.
This is where we will end this week's episode. Aegard, Braca, and Katie are in hot pursuit of Ashoud as he absconds with a hogtied Ibron. The three have noticed a strange structure off the main road and are moving to investigate. Ibron has regained consciousness and looks around to realize he's in a strange Victorian-style hut. While gaining his bearings, he is approached by a cackling hooded figure who unveils the truth, that Ashoud was in fact a hag just before the hag puts Ibron back to sleep. Thank you, friends and fellow adventurers, for your continued support. Our cast is hard at work creating some thrilling new content to go alongside with the campaign. If you have not had the chance, please go like and follow our cast and crew on Instagram. Details and links provided in the episode description. A big thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you're interested in further supporting the show monetarily, please follow the Patreon link in the episode description. And of course, tune in next week to see if Katie, Braca, and Aegard can track down Ibron before it's too late.